that we need to produce things, or what economists call the factors of production. First, you need land, which includes all natural resources, and then you need workers, which is labor. Then you need capital, which includes machines and factories and infrastructure, things you need to produce other things. One special type of capital is the worker's education, knowledge, and skills required to produce things. Economists call this human capital. So school's not just about torching you, except for PE, it's about developing your human capital. The quantity and quality of these resources is the first step to being more productive. But perhaps even more important is how you use them. Increasing the amount of capital has a cost, but finding new ways to organize production is virtually free. Economists call the organizational effectiveness technology. Think of it as the good ideas about how to combine labor and capital that you already have. US workers produce so much more than Bangladeshi workers because the US has more factories, robots, and computers. But more capital only gets you so far. It increases your production capacity, but it also eats up some of that production capacity. You have to develop more factories and workers and machines to make more capital, and then replace them when they wear out. Technology, on the other hand, takes the same amount of resources and organizes them in a way to produce more output.
Here's an example. 25 years ago, you could find computers in just about every workplace in the US, but productivity growth in the US was flat. Then, starting in about 1995, US productivity boomed, led by computer technology. So what changed? In the late 80s and early 90s, most workplace computers were individual units, plugged into nothing but an electric outlet. They were useful for writing and printing documents or acting as overgrown calculators and playing Oregon Trail. But that was about it. When the World Wide Web came along, everything changed. It turns out that computers are far more useful when they can talk to each other. The computer at the store could talk to the computer at the warehouse, which could talk to the computer at the factory. That means I can get a new blouse from the other side of the world pretty much immediately. Connectivity equals productivity. Productivity in the US boomed for the next 10 years, and wages jumped as a result. 200 years ago, productivity in the US wasn't that great, but it grew a little bit every year. Compounding that over decades and centuries gives us the huge gap between the US standard of living and that of many developing countries.